What's going on, ladies and gents? Delaware here with
some dude.
Hey,
we're doing our second Tangents.
Tangents, episode 2.
It's only
been like 3 months.
Something like that.
This is the second video on this channel.
Yeah, right.
If you're listening, this is our second official podcast.
Second official video, second official podcast for Tangents. Today's conversation is going to be around movies, and it'll probably be pretty quick. We'll see. I guess depends. But we are going to talk about Ghost in the Shell because we haven't talked about it. And we did watch it. We know that's older. We are going to talk about Wonder Woman, so that's more current. And then also we will discuss Black Panther and the trailer.
And whatever else comes up.
And the reason it's called Tangents is because we go into
hashtag tangents.
We normally keep it though relevant. Within the subject.
Within the vicinity.
Yeah. But let's first, since it's the oldest, let's talk about Ghost in the Shell.
I love that movie.
I think they knocked it out of the park.
Here's the thing. I had never seen the original. I mean, we watched it. Right, we watched it when we went to see Suicide Squad.
Right.
We didn't finish it.
Right.
And we ended up watching it right before, the day before we went to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Everything played out perfectly.
I mean,
I'm a really I have mixed bag feelings about the whole whitewashing concept, right? And I get everybody's beef with what it looked like. But then, and I mean, spoiler warning, I guess, if you haven't seen the movie.
If you haven't seen it, it's out. I think it's coming out on DVD or whatever. But whatever.
Here's the thing: the first 2 seconds clarify what happened, and you understand why it is the way it is. It's she was a Japanese woman.
Here's the thing.
She was a Japanese woman.
No, I know, but you said
American
the first
company.
But you said the first 2 seconds. The first 2 seconds hint at that, but you get the full details towards the end of the movie.
You put all the details together.
I mean, you could put it together yourself if you're a decently observant person.
Yeah,
if you're not,
that's clearly not Scarlett Johansson. That's clearly not Scarlett Johansson at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's clearly
not. No,
so
it's 100% not, because they show her again and it's not her.
And then everything else you see from the company that's doing this is white dudes running it. It's an American company.
Right.
It's a German doctor.
Which is not unheard of, because within the anime you multiple times deal with multiple governments of the world. So
it made perfect sense. I had no problem with it. I had no beef with it.
Because we are doing this in your home, how bad is that going to come out?
I don't know. I don't know how bad it's going to be. I mean, we've got 2 sources of audio, so we'll see. I mean, there's definitely a background hum, but
hopefully it's not too bad.
But I do apologize. It's the middle of summer.
It's the middle of summer.
The AC's running.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think overall this movie was the first animated movie. I think it played almost exactly like it. Yes, were there Hollywood additions to the story? Of course there was, because it's never going to be one for one. And to be honest, it kind of shouldn't be, because the whole reasoning of creating a story on screen is to create it a little differently, right? I mean, at least I think it should be. I think we're all, even myself, guilty of wanting scene for scene or shot for shot, and I think that's wrong. I think what we need to adjust to is that it's going to be a different kind of story.
It's always going to be different, and it should be a different. It should be a different
It's
representation.
new content. There shouldn't be old content.
It's a different format. It's a different medium. Looking at the X-Men comics. The X-Men movies aren't the same as the X-Men comics. Of course they're not. They're not comics.
Right.
It can never be one to one.
For it to be comics, Jesus Christ, it would be ridiculous.
Even look at something like Watchmen, right? Watchmen's supposed to be a shot-for-shot making, but it's not. Even that was adjusted. Even that had an animated portion. Even that had a different finale.
Right.
There's a whole lot of things that were different about it because you had to do it differently.
Yeah.
Not everything is going to make sense on screen, especially not for the mass market. You have to understand the original content was created for a niche market. And then
movies are not. Movies are made for
especially big blockbuster films. They're made for an enormous market.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want niche, really plays to the nerds, you're gonna get stuff like. Did you ever see the movie House of the Dead based on the arcade game?
Yeah, it was great.
I loved that movie. It like had cuts of the game. It had cuts of the game. It was outstanding.
Here's the thing: majority of the people will tell you that movie's awful.
Here's the thing: it was a terrible film.
But
I have no doubt about it.
It's like I was just telling somebody a little bit ago. I was like, I'm excited to see Transformers, right? But then I saw like in a news article in a paper sitting on the desk at home. I was like, Transformers movie completely disjointed and some other word, and I'm like, it's a Transformers movie. It's robots fighting robots with a mixture of human beings. Like, what does it matter? You're not going to get an Oscar out of this.
Here are my requirements for a movie about giant robots that transform into cars and/or planes and/or boats.
I want them to transform.
Giant robots with transforming into cars and planes and boats.
And then fighting each other.
That's really, and they don't even have to fight. If they had like political discourse, I wouldn't care because it'd be giant robots. I don't care. Right. That's all I want. It's just giant robots.
So, and going back to Ghost in the Shell, it's a great movie. Now, it's not 100%, but like the things that were from clearly the anime, absolutely loved it. The certain
shot for shot
stuff, absolutely loved it. But here's the thing: the people that were involved with the original movie, the creators of the original movie, specifically signed the contract stating that they had to be involved in this movie to make sure they still like it, even though knowing that it's going to be adjusted here and there. So if they thought it was done well, and they're the creators, it's done well, and it really was. I was absolutely happy, 100% with what I watched, and I didn't check since then, but I truly hope it didn't make its money so we can get at least another one.
Let's see. Box. Oh my God, I can't type. For this mojo, there is. That's not even. I didn't type the rest of it.
That's just box office. There it is.
Ghost. Let's see the Transformers real quick. 2-day total.
I mean, they're gonna make their money.
Production budget 217. So far, 23 domestic. Granted, it's Friday. It came out Wednesday. Ghost in the Shell. Let's see. 2017 lifetime gross 40 million.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But
110 million production budget. Total worldwide 169.
169. We're most likely not going to see a second.
Here's the thing. It made money. I would say usually all the in people say that you account for about 20 million in advertising.
Right.
So you call it 130 million. Listen, maybe I'm not playing at that level, but 39 million. It's not chump change.
I mean, it's not chump change.
You could pay ScarJo for another movie with that profit.
I mean, that's true, but that's it's most likely we're not going to see another. Here's the thing: I hope that we do.
I don't necessarily need another Ghost in the Shell. I would like to see other adaptations. I don't want to see the
that's
low
true.
profit
Here's the
margin
thing:
on this.
that's true. We technically got an end. We didn't like. It's not like it left us so crazy wide open for a sequel that like it needs to have a sequel.
And a lot of the show and stuff, again, I haven't seen most of the stuff, but a lot of the shows that takes place like before, right?
I can't remember all. Some of it is after, some of it is before.
I know some of it is different. Like there's different timelines.
There's one that's like all the new Arise stuff is like way back in the day when she first started. So,
which technically is what we got in this movie.
No, this is kind of like they explained a little bit of her origin, but this isn't like when she.
How long do you think
started.
she was in? Like, how long do you think she was an agent before? Like, let's say between the opening of the movie and the actual first mission we see her on. Like, how long do you think she's been an agent at that point? Like, do you think it's been the same amount of time that it was in the anime? Because in the anime, I get the feeling that it's been years.
It was years in the anime.
Like, I would easily say 10 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it is 10 years in the anime. That's the difference.
It just doesn't seem like it's been 10 years in the movie.
I mean, it's very possible that it wasn't. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any indicators of that time.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many different time frames that I think even if you were to make a sequel, like, it doesn't really beg for a sequel in terms of the story.
No, not at all.
So then you'd want to dive into, like, her, her early days, but then you're talking about prequels, and those just don't really do well in movie theaters.
No, not really. And
So
to be honest,
that's why you have 4 Scorpion King prequels that all happen on DVD.
Right, yeah. And to be honest, like, I don't know if I'd care for anything going back. Like, we technically got most of the story for her.
I'm super satisfied with that movie.
Like, if they were to do a sequel, which, like I said, it's most likely not going to happen, but if they were, I would like to just see kind of like another mission, you know? Maybe not necessarily... I mean, I guess it's always... I mean, I guess what goes in the show, it is always about, like, somebody's double-crossing somebody or some government's playing back games and stuff like that, so... I guess we would see like double crossing and stuff like that, but you know, if you were to see it, I figure it would just be like another like she's on a mission thing.
If it weren't for the really, really high CGI requirement, I would say this would work as a series. I mean, obviously it worked as a series several times.
I mean, yeah.
So, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like we have all this original content. I think these movies should serve as like a way to introduce people,
right?
And say, hey, this is Ghost in the Shell. This is our version.
They did a great job.
If you want to see the original, you've got the anime. Then there's all this other lore. You can get the graphic novels. You can get whatever. There's all this lore you can jump into. I mean, it's the same way with something. I mean, this is like a stupid comparison, but it's like a Tom Clancy. Like they've made like 3 or 4 different little like short DVD only Tom Clancy movies.
Right.
But then at the same time, you also have the big budget ones, right? The big budget ones were like standalones. But
then you have the books.
But then you have
games.
you have like, for instance, if you've watched any of the Tom Clancy movies, which you may not realize you've watched Tom Clancy movies, but like Clear and Present Danger, Sum of All Fears. The most recent one was
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, which is just the agent's name. But Jack Ryan's in all those movies. Like he's the persistent character.
There's just not the same guy playing.
But Jack Ryan's also in that entire universe. All of the Tom Clancy books tie in together.
Right.
So like the Ghost Recon books tie in to like the Jack Ryan books.
Right.
So like, if you want to dive deep into this like military intrigue, and honestly, it's really written well. I bought one of them. Didn't realize it was like the 9th book in the series.
Right.
So like there was a ton of information. So like the first like 10 chapters it really was a lot of it was like explaining who people are and how they're related and what's been happening. But then like once it kicks into action, like I literally, it was one of those things like I read 10 or 12 chapters and I was like, ugh, like so much just explanation. And then I put it down for like 3 years and I was like, I might as well finish this book. I read like 2 more chapters and at the end of it, like there's this huge explosion in a marketplace and I was like, boom, and it just went through, and it's it has one of the best action sequences like I've ever seen counting movies.
Right.
And I'm like, I want this as a film, but like they would never do it. It's like so deep into the story.
No, they would never do this.
But that's what I'm saying is like these movies serve as like a point of entry. So I think with Ghost in the Shell, you say, hey, this was really good. I want to know more about this character. I want to know more about this universe. Well, hey, there's 3 animated movies. There's 3 animated series. You can watch for literally days.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's the best way to do it, because with something like that, I mean, like if they were to do like a Vampire Hunter D adaptation,
right?
That's such a deep story. That's on like 30 novels or something.
Right.
Like there's so much story there. There's like 3 or 4 animes. There's a lot of content, but like you could do it as a one-off.
I mean, you could do it as a one-off once again, or do a series. I mean.
I think that could definitely serve as like a Netflix.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just vampire stuff. It's not like you... I mean, Blade is a perfect example why you don't need a lot of CG for a great vampire
flick, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I think overall, if you haven't watched it, rent it, or own it, I think it's... If you're a Ghost in the Shell fan, there's no way you're not going to enjoy this. If you don't enjoy this, you're nitpicking and...
Yeah, I mean, you could always...
And, like, you can argue it's, like, subjective, but no, you're legitimately nitpicking because... A lot of it is shot for shot. I mean, there's
for
just
me,
so
it
much
was
things.
for me. You got to understand. You also have to understand that you might have a nostalgia factor to it. Because for me, it was like I watched it, and I think the next day or 2 days later, we went to see the movie.
Right.
So it was fresh eyes. Like I didn't have this like
30-year-old
nostalgia.
I mean, I did, but here's the thing.
A lot of people start with Star Wars. A lot of people with Star Wars were like, "Oh man, the originals." They went to see 8, and they were like, I mean, it wasn't as good. Like.
But it was.
It wasn't as good as you remember those to be.
Right, exactly.
If you had just seen the originals...
And then you watch this, clearly you know which one is better.
I mean, like, I saw 8, and then I saw Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One was a better movie.
Oh my god, Rogue One was amazing.
Like, I didn't have that nostalgia. It wasn't like, oh, Star Wars, like the comeback movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
I think quality wise, it was a better movie.
100%.
So if you look, like, watch the original again, and then watch the new movie. If you haven't seen the film,
You got to get past the nostalgia.
you gotta get past the nostalgia.
Like, I even,
that kills a lot of experience.
Here's what's
for most
funny,
people.
because I watched the original Ghost in the Shell, I watched back in 95, 96, or whatever it was. Like, I remember, like, tuning into that anime channel that you could barely get on antenna.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then I remember why, because I watched Wicked City on that, and
Because it was like different things at different times of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because late at night it was not stuff you were talking about.
And then it was like they had Wicked City play on there. That's why I loved it. Now knowing what the anime is called, but 8-Man was another one that I watched. And then Ghost in the Shell was another one. So like technically I would have had nostalgia, but I thought this was just very well done. I mean, it's besides adding a few things here and there for the Hollywood aspect of it, it's the anime basically.
Yeah, I mean, it was essential. I mean, a lot of it was shot for shot, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
This is one of those scenarios. Like, this is probably as close as Watchmen was for as far as a shot for shot remake.
Yeah.
You had just so many things that were just like dead on. That like if you, I mean, like in the comic it's way different, but like if you look at the anime and you look at this movie, you could play them side by side, and I'm sure somebody on YouTube's done it,
Right.
like side by side,
sure
shot for shot, comparison. It's great. It's really fun. It's entertaining, and it's a really good story.
Yeah.
Like really, really good.
Yeah,
and like the stuff that and like you said, it really kind of completed it. In the anime, there is an openness to it. There's like an uncertainty, because I don't even remember how it ends. Even though
she just for the animated movie, she just gets called for another mission. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like it's never. I shouldn't say never. In the actual series, you did get definitely like a crazy like cliffhanger at the end of the first season.
Gotcha.
So.
I'm just saying because like we got the whole thing with the parent. With the mom.
Right.
And, like, that wasn't in the anime.
No, that definitely
But, like, it gave you such a sense of closure to the story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was a really well-done, self-contained story. And like I said, I don't think we would need another one.
I think we need
another one. I would
another
love
one.
to see this.
I think
like
it would be cool to see a series.
$39 million is no chump change. I don't care who you are.
I mean, for over what it costs to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
39. Let's say with marketing, it was $130 million. So $39 million net profit. That's not chump change.
That's not.
And if you say, hey, if we can make $39 million adapting a bunch of these one-off, animes, let's do Akira. Let's do.
I mean,
all these like really great one-offs. Like Metropolis was an outstanding.
Well,
anime.
me the biggest thing is like
Perfect Blue.
You just Perfect Blue. That's a whole.
That would serve as such a. I mean, that's not even dependent on the anime form.
That's not.
That's just a really incredible thriller.
Yeah, that's just that's oh man, that's rated R. 100%.
It would have to be rated R.
If you didn't rate it R, that would be awesome.
But it would also cost like what, $50 million to make, if that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
There's nothing. There's no big spectacle. There's no CG. It's just people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be a crazy. I would be interested to see how well they could accomplish that.
I'd put Daisy Johnson. I forget her name, but I'd put her as the main chick.
Yeah, I forget her name.
Because she is a pop star.
Chloe? Is it Chloe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a Chloe. But she is a pop star.
Yeah, no, I know.
So like, that works.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's all I can really say. If you haven't watched it, watch it. I guarantee you'll buy it. I will be buying it. I think it's still on pre-order. I think it's coming out here shortly.
Really?
Yeah.
Because What's His Face just came out, and that came out after.
I know. But for some reason, it's taken a while. Now, I don't know if they're trying to, maybe they had a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff and stuff like that. But
I mean, it's possible, yeah, if they got like a ton of material. Ghost in the Shell. July 25th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Because what just came? Get Out. Get Out came out way more recently.
Right.
And it's already out.
Yeah. I mean, I think even Fast and Furious is coming
out. Which Get Out was an outstanding film.
Which I think Fast and the Furious is also coming out before it, so. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking it up. And
Fate of the Furious. That was such a good movie.
And
I'm not going to lie, I thought it was hilarious and just strange when I saw your wife post that her and her mom were going to see Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just weird to me to think that, like...
People have a relationship with their parents?
No! That an old lady would go see Fate of the Furious.
I mean, she's watched them all, so...
I guess. I just didn't think she would like it.
She likes action movies.
I don't know. Because, like... So
this just kind of gives you the mental state of.
It's just his mother-in-law listens to like Christmas music during the year, like during July. She'll listen to Christmas music, and it's like, to me, a person who listens to Christmas music in July is not a person who likes like really kind of explosive action movies. And just in my head, that just doesn't make sense.
Your head's wrong.
I mean, I guess I'm wrong.
But let's go into Wonder Woman now. A lot of people say Wonder Woman's the best DC movie at the moment in the current universe, not necessarily ever of all.
I still
DC
don't think.
movies.
Like, listen, I think Dark Knight was great, but I don't think Dark Knight was all this like cinematic, epic masterpiece that everyone makes it out to be. I watched like 3 videos in the last week where somebody was talking about like, will it ever get as good or better than Dark Knight? I'm like, just because it was the best Batman movie at the time, doesn't mean that it's like this epitome of greatness. It was a great movie.
I mean, it's
but like,
I mean, I think it's the only. Now, I could be wrong. Clearly, I could be wrong. But if I am correct, if I am not wrong, I think it's the only comic book movie that's won an Oscar for acting. Most of the times you see visual effects, stuff like that, for Oscars for those stuff.
Sure, but it was Heath.
It was Heath.
Posthumously. So like, yeah, but he was dead. Like, he was going to be nominated. Of course they were going to give it to him.
No.
You're not going to nominate someone who's dead and then not give them the award.
I think you absolutely 100% should. If that is the, I think the fact that most people were not expecting him to do what he did in that role.
I'm curious to see who the competition was that year. What year was that? 2010?
No idea. No idea.
10 Oscars.
Why don't you just search when did Heath Ledger win an Oscar?
2009. It was close. 2009 Oscar.
No, supporting actor.
Supporting actor. No. Nominees.
Like, dude, you're telling me those aren't good names? Michael Shannon, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Robert Downey Jr.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was for.
Even if you don't throw in Josh Brolin, which I think is a great actor. Even if you, let's say you're like, whatever, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin milked on that one. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Milk.
Tropic Thunder?
Milk.
He wasn't going to win.
Dude, he was
hilarious, but that wasn't like an epic role. No, he wasn't going to win. I haven't seen Revolution. I haven't seen any of the other movies.
Milk was huge. I think Milk actually might have won the Oscar.
Best Picture.
Because it was
Slumdog. Slumdog won that year.
Not Milk for Best Picture, but I think for Best Actor, I think it was Sean Penn who won. Which he was the main actor in Milk.
Oh, maybe. Let's see. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Sean Penn, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, the picture is...
Okay.
So, I mean, like, you got great actors, so no, they absolutely did not have to just give it to him because he's dead. No, he literally performed the role that a lot of people
I'm not saying he didn't do a great job. I think he did an outstanding job. I think that Joker, the execution of that Joker is the cruel, sadistic, twisted Joker I've always seen in the Joker.
Right.
For me, in the animated Joker, that what's his face portrays? I always forget his damn name. Skywalker.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Skywalker. I'm sure everybody knows who Skywalker is.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not saying it wasn't a good movie. I'm not saying it wasn't a great movie. I just don't think that it deserves this like top tier. Like, people are saying
I mean,
on a regular basis that it is
thing.
absolutely the best comic book film ever made. Ever.
I don't agree with that because for the biggest reason is he specifically wrote it so it didn't involve any supernatural items in it, and he was never going to write it with supernatural items with it, which to me right away kind of disqualifies it. Yeah, at that point you're kind of disqualifying yourself out of being a legitimate comic book movie. Yes, you took a comic book character, but you made it into something completely else. Because the minute Batman's
I didn't agree with that.
The minute Batman is not dealing with things that should be way beyond his control, that minor thugs are giving him issues, when he's fighting them. That right away.
You're saying that Batman can't lift 1,000 pounds.
That Batman couldn't do anything that the comic book Batman can. I promise you that. Shit, that Batman.
You know what Batman could lift 1,000 pounds? Ben Affleck Batman.
The Ben Affleck Batman for sure. The best.
Ben Affleck Batman.
Listen,
chest press 120.
We can talk about this all day, and this is obviously subjective, but I'll argue till I die that Ben Affleck's Batman is the best Batman we've had on screen. Period. I don't care what anybody says.
I think so too.
We've had great Batmans. He is the best Batman we've had on screen.
It's yours if you want it, by the way.
But as for Wonder Woman, I think they did a great job. I don't know necessarily if I agree that in this universe it was the best movie. I think for me, Man of Steel sits with me better, but I think it's definitely right up there with Man of Steel, if not like neck to neck. So
I think it was the best. I think for me it plays Wonder Woman. I did like BVS better more than I liked Man of Steel. I just did. So yeah, it would be Wonder Woman, BVS, Man of Steel, and Suicide Squad is last.
yeah,
Suicide Squad's probably going to be last forever.
I think so.
They'd have to really jack up a movie for me.
I mean, they would have to do the same thing they did with Suicide Squad for it to have a chance to compete with anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many issues I had with Suicide Squad. Like,
Yeah.
it was an enjoyable movie, but it was just like every time
I'm not saying
I think
it's
about
it's a pure, utter garbage trash
No, that's
movie.
Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah, that's, according to some people's opinions.
Joking.
According to
Assassin's
some
Creed was
people's
super fun. No, I think it was just. I think Wonder Woman was an outstanding film. There were.
I wouldn't say outstanding, but it definitely. I mean, they did everything they needed it to.
Oh, we didn't give Ghost
Ghost
of
in the Shell a score. So we do out of 10.
I give it a solid 9.
Yeah,
I got no problems.
I would give it a solid 9.
I got no ridiculous problems.
I didn't have any real issues with acting. I don't think anybody overacted. I think
the invisibility cloak thing.
Yeah, no, I think everything was great. I mean, the only reason it's not 10 out of 10, it's not a perfect movie, is of course I can go in there and nitpick a few things here and there. But overall, I would say I would agree. I think a 9 out of 10 definitely for that movie, without a doubt. Back to Wonder Woman though. I think Gal Gadot did a great job, especially considering that I had zero faith in her. So for her to,
I think she was outstanding.
I think the person that wrote her lines and her character did a very phenomenal job in providing her with those that script and all that, and helping her. And I think
the script
and I think the director helped quite a bit with that, because here's the thing. She might have a hidden talent of being a great actress, but everything we've seen proves otherwise. So for her to gotten better without really showing that she was getting better in that significant amount.
Right, but at the same time, you look at Heath Ledger. What did he do before Dark Knight that painted that he was a really good actor?
I mean, yeah, but I'm not gonna lie to you. When I heard Heath Ledger for Joker, I was.
So do you think that was him, or do you think that was the director?
For
Dark Knight.
For the character that he brought on screen,
yeah,
that was definitely him.
So I mean,
I would. He became Joker. We didn't see Heath Ledger. We saw Joker on screen.
What I'm saying, and that was the first thing I said. That was the first thing I said when he died, and it came out that he died basically because of overdose of or not overdose, but complications due to like sleeping pills because he was so
couldn't
deep in the
sleep.
role he
Yeah.
couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was an overdose for like sleep.
It was. It
He
was an
trying to sleep.
accidental overdose because he was trying to sleep. He couldn't sleep. He can't.
And so like my first thought, like I read that story and I was like, the Joker killed Heath Ledger.
Yeah, 100%.
That's such a jacked up thing to say out loud, but like the Joker killed Heath Ledger.
100%, man. He became that person.
So that's what I'm saying. I just don't want to take away from Gal Gadot's. Like,
I'm not taking away anything from her.
I think her performance is great. I wouldn't give it to the script and the director that's what did it.
No, I'm not saying that's the only thing that did it, but I that definitely helped because, I mean,
I think the script and direction were great for the
like
entire
at least. Like what you want to argue, you know, the difference between her and Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger had movies under his belt that he led and didn't do a bad job at, where she didn't. She had 4 movies, and I think she had 10 minutes in each movie. So like,
yeah, I mean she didn't, but she's also a true, genuine badass. She's ex-Mossad.
I mean that doesn't mean anything for me.
I mean, as far as acting, what I'm like, that gives you a certain credibility on screen where you can kick butt.
I mean, absolutely, yeah.
Like,
that means that you are capable of doing some physical things, and that's awesome. That's great.
What I have to say is, I think Chris Pine really stepped outside of his previous roles.
Oh, see, I don't.
Not once was I like, that's Captain Kirk.
I'm glad to hear that because
not once, because like the whole time, like I didn't even think about it. It was the same thing that happened with Chris Evans. Same exact thing.
Oh yeah,
if
like
you remember when they were like Captain
him.
America, I was like, because he was such a great Johnny Storm.
He was Johnny Storm.
So like I was like, I'm just gonna be watching this movie. All I'm gonna be thinking is Johnny Storm.
And you weren't, not even once.
No. Whereas, which is funny because now in the most recent movie, I forget what it's called, but Chris Evans plays like a surrogate dad or whatever.
Sure.
To his niece.
Right.
And all I could think the entire movie was like, something Captain America's doing between movies. like, I mean, like Steve Rogers is just doing
it's very
this on the
possible
side.
that is what Cap is doing. You know, he's trying to be a dad.
So yeah, it was. I think he did a great job. I think the character was written really well. I think really that the story, the overall execution of the story and the dialogue in this movie was so great. That whole scene with the shield, where like they do the shield move that she knew, that she learned on the mascara. It was such a great moment because I'm looking at it, I'm like, the hell are they doing?
Right.
Like I didn't know what was going to happen. It was such a great.
Yeah, me neither. That's one of those things.
Execution.
That's one of those things that I was like, that kind of I didn't call that. Like that was that one thing because you asked me, you know, how did you call? I forgot what was the one thing.
The bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy. That's right. You were like, how the hell?
No, I flat out called him a liar.
He did call me a liar, and then I put in perspective some things, and then maybe he didn't anymore think I was a liar. But I mean, what do I have to lie for? What, to make myself look good? Who cares? But I did not think about that they would do that. Like from what it looked like, I was like, okay, so they're gonna try to push towards while having that as cover.
That was my thought because that's what I would do. I wasn't even think. I don't know. I was like, I've been here the whole time, with him, seeing what he's seeing. Yeah. That's not even where my mind went.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I mean, I will say, I definitely enjoyed that.
And like until he said it, even because when he explained to them what they were going to do, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I think overall it's a very well done movie. Like I said, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if I put it right next to Man of Steel. It's just that I feel that Man of Steel just sat with me a little better, but that's about it. But it's a very well done movie. Script, directing, visuals overall. There were a little bits here and there that you could definitely tell was 100% CG.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the scenes with the whip. I mean, that's just...
The whip was definitely like there was for me like one specific scene, and I honestly I couldn't recall the actual scene, but I know there was one scene where when I was watching, I was like, oh man, that somebody really quicked that one up real quick. Like out of all the other scenes, I was like, that one stood out really.
At some point, you're gonna lose that believability. But it's so ridiculously unreal.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and and that's one. That's the thing that we always talk about is like going into like the whole nitpicking thing. It's you can sit there and nitpick a lot of things, but overall, as a movie, as a superhero movie, I enjoyed the crap out of it.
It was super fun. I'm not, and you know this, I'm not a fan of like period films of like World War I or World
Well,
War
that's
II.
and
I don't know what it is.
I'm glad
about
you said that because we discussed that. We said they did a way better job than Marvel did with Cap.
Yeah.
And that's period. You know, somebody can
They're
sit
both
here and
period,
argue
they're
because
both period pieces.
But here's the thing: if you truly sit down and you watch them, Cap, I enjoyed the movie, but I was like, I felt like something was missing. With her, I was like, this was a great period piece movie.
It was great.
Great.
I don't know. I don't know what it was about it. I loved the period setting. I loved the execution of it. I don't really like regular, like historic, non-fiction-y kind of period movies for World War I, World War II.
Right.
I don't really know what it is. Like if it's Roman, like or Greek era, like 300.
Right.
Granted, that was mostly fiction, but at the same time, like I'd rather watch like a Civil War movie than I'd watch a World War I movie. I don't know why. I really don't know. I just have never liked it. I like alternate history movies where, like, Inglourious Bastards, great movie. None of that really happened. Right. But I really enjoyed that one.
That was a fun movie.
I like stuff where it's like altered history, where it's like, what if it happened this way, or what if this was included? So this is kind of one of those situations for me. It's like, what if Wonder Woman was around during World War I? Yeah. And it was such a great movie, especially on that level. Like, as far as a alternate history World War I movie, it was a great movie because it was just like, let's add this really singular addition, because like mustard gas was a thing in World War I. That was a big part of it.
Now, how do you feel that Wonder Woman killed?
Just fine. She's a soldier.
No, I know
she's a warrior.
I know, but I mean, in the comics, we never really. I mean, only one time she killed, and everybody lost their damn mind in the comics.
I mean, everyone lost their damn mind because she did it on camera.
Right.
She did it on camera.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, everybody... But let's be serious. Everybody wants to sit here and argue, oh, this character doesn't kill.
No, I think Wonder Woman always killed. I appreciate the fact that even in the Marvel movies, Cap killed. Cap had a gun in the first movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Granted, like, in the newer movie, he doesn't, but, like, they're not dealing... Often they're not dealing with people.
Yeah.
Or if they're dealing with people, they're not trying to kill them.
No, absolutely.
I can't remember off the top of my head in Winter Soldier if he killed any of the Hydra agents.
I can't remember, to be honest.
He kicked their ass.
Listen, if he didn't kill them, they're in permanent coma.
Right.
So.
But I think Wonder Woman, especially being of the period, it's World War I. It's literal war. She's out to end war.
Well, no, it's just to me. Listen, I had no issues with it, but that's the thing. Like, to me, it's like you know the diehards always sit down and they're always like, this character doesn't kill and do this, but I'm like, yeah, in the comics that's fine, you can write that, but
you also have a wider audience in the comics,
right? But in real life,
a 7-10-year-old kid might pick that up,
right? No, absolutely, no, and you're absolutely
this is a PG-13 movie,
yeah. But when you're trying to base movies around somewhat of a real world, listen, Batman can only dodge so many bullets. At some point, he's gonna have to take them down permanently, so they're not trying to kill him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and here, even with me, like going back to Man of Steel, like the first time you're the one that put it in perspective for me, because the first time I watched him kill Zod, like, to me, I was like, I don't know how I feel, but then you're like, but it's the only thing he would have done. I'm like, it literally is the only thing. Yeah. There was two options. Let him free, because he couldn't contain him in any way at that time.
He had no way to contain
so either let him go and be like, listen, you know what, we're both Kryptonian, fuck it. Just, you know.
Because he couldn't possibly know of a way to, like, generate red sun energy. Right. Like, there's just no way for him to contain it.
Or he snaps his neck and saves Earth. I think that the fact that Superman sacrificed the most thing for him, which is the only person left in his life that's from the same planet.
Is it weird that I want Man of Steel 2 to include the arrival of Kara Zor-El?
No idea, because Man of Steel 2 was on such a back burner, I don't even pay attention to it at this point.
I think they do a Supergirl before they did a Man of Steel 2 at this
It's
point.
very possible. Like, even Henry Cavill sat down during the interview, he's like, listen, we have so many characters we want to show off, we have so many movies that we want to do, Man of Steel might not even come for another 10 years. or Man of Steel 2.
Get out of here, 10 years.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're releasing...
You better film that this week.
Here's the thing.
You're getting old, son.
He's not even close. He's 34. You could easily bring out...
I feel like a piece of shit right now.
Yeah, he's 34.
I'm 33, and I am not anywhere near his level of anything.
I think he literally was 31 when he finished filming Man of Steel.
That's crazy. It's always insane when I think about these people who are just at this incredible level of either skill or not so. I don't want to say celebrity. I would never want to be famous.
Right.
I can't say that enough. But like these people who are 35.
I mean, this is a skill. This is a talent.
Yeah. Like people who are like 34, 35 years old, and they have such a position, and they have done so well for themselves. It's just like I go back and I'm like, I was pushing carts at Jewel.
Yeah, right.
They were probably like out.
I mean, it's funny. He talks about.
But I guess when you identify what you can do early on, you can.
Well, it's funny because he when he was young, when he was in school, Russell Crowe was filming a movie. I forgot which movie, and he got approached by a boy, and the boy asks him. He's like, how is it being an actor? And he said, I guess Russell Crowe replied with, and I'm butchering this. The story goes a little different, but overall, the Russell Crowe responds with. They treat you like shit, but they pay you really good. And that boy happened to be Henry Cavill at the time.
Here he is making
funny enough, 10 whatever years later, he's on the same screen with Russell Crowe.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
How crazy is that?
That is pretty.
Who knew the boy he told that line he would do a job with. Right. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, going back to Wonder Woman overall, I listen, if I was to give Man of Steel a 9 out of 10, I would easily give Wonder Woman a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I have no qualms about that.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. Like we said, there's a few things that it could have been.
The only difference between that movie and that movie is that Man of Steel sat with me a little. It resonated with me. It
resonates with you on a certain level, and that's where that subjective level comes in.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
To me, that we can never have a debate about that. You say like that movie speaks to you more. I can't argue.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
We can argue when somebody says that Assassin's Creed was a piece of garbage. That was not a piece of garbage.
I mean,
you're going to tell me that, like, when you tell me that the plot device
we talk about this all the time,
is a ridiculous plot device. Oh, it like eliminates free will, but then you turn around and you gush about a literal gauntlet that controls all of reality. We can argue that because that's not. Oh, this resonates with me. You're telling me that this ridiculous plot device is somehow less believable than this other ridiculous plot device.
Which would you, if you want to argue,
technically is a more
ridiculous plot device.
Like, oh, this can only remove free will. This can remove all of existence.
This device right here just gets rid of free will.
Yep.
This gauntlet with these gems, existence
gone. Do whatever.
Not even just a certain thing. Exist. You never
blink. Blackness.
Yeah.
Done.
Nothing. Come on.
Yeah. But by the way, that's the level. That's what we're approaching in next year's Infinity War movie. We are approaching the most evil motherfucker on the planet, Thanos.
Yeah.
Or in the galaxy.
In the galaxy. Not even the planet.
Having potentially all 6 of the gems on his hand, and with all 6,
although we'll have to see
the ability to end all existence.
The way I'm seeing, and the way
we've only got 1 left.
Well, I know, but the only thing I can think of is how he gets all that. Like in the first Infinity War movie, we have to see him get those because right now he has none of them. He has the gauntlet, but he has none of the stones.
He has the gauntlet, but what's his face has 1.
I mean, Doctor Strange has 1.
Well, no, that's Strange. The Collector. The Collector has 1. He has the Ether.
Okay.
The Nova Corps has 1, but didn't the Nova Corps plan to get ended last movie? So isn't it just encased in that amber?
I can't remember.
In Guardians of the Galaxy?
I can't.
When the ego goop kind of.
Right. I mean, I can't remember.
I feel like the base got covered in that.
Right.
If it did, it's just chilling in that goop.
That's true.
He's just got to punch in and get it.
That's true.
Even if it didn't, I feel like he could just steamroll Nova Corps and get it.
Right.
I don't think he's gonna have a problem with those two.
Right.
Because he's gonna walk up to Collector and be like, "Give it," and he's like, "Yeah, I want that."
Right.
So that's 2 right away.
Right.
The Doctor Strange one he might have a problem with because
But they still have to
sure that location is outside of time space.
Right.
So like, that's gonna be hard to get to at the very least.
I mean, he's Thanos, so you don't know.
The one Vision again, he could just walk in and like.
But doesn't that kill Vision then?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's doable. I just don't think Vision would realistically pose him enough of a threat.
I mean,
I think if he gets like 2 other ones first.
But if Vision phases, he can't just grab it. So like.
But if he gets the ether first or the energy gem first,
I mean that's true. Yeah.
All the energy out of his body.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing. It's going to depend on how he does it. I think if they could easily make like the first 2 acts of the movie, him just steamrolling through these people.
I mean, but you're going to have to because I mean it's clearly
because they already shot stuff with Spider-Man, Guardians, and Avengers.
Yeah.
So like all those people come together, and the only way they come together is if those other gems go to Earth.
I mean, existence is going to be threatened. So not free will, existence is going to be threatened.
I'm just saying. I think he could steamroll pretty much all of them. I think Soul Gem, which is the last one.
I think first movie, we see.
I don't think there's 2. I think they cut it down to 1 movie.
No, there's 2 movies. They're just not calling it anymore Part 1 and Part 2.
What the hell is the other one going to be called?
I have no idea. From what I understand, they're just not calling it Part 1 and Part 2. But from what I know, there's still 2 movies.
New Avengers Infinity War picture hints at Iron Man spoiler. Because Strange, of course, is there.
I mean, I don't care for any of this. Just look up if it's 2 movies.
And
I mean, what does that IMDb say?
This is Avengers Infinity War. The Avengers join forces with the Guardians of the Galaxy to confront Thanos, who is trying to amass the Infinity Stones.
Okay. I mean, listen, if they put them together, it's going to be a long movie. Because you are not... If you play off that you tell that story in 2 hours... If it's not a 3-hour movie, I think you're full of shit.
Right, but also at the same time, like I think you don't have to show him steamrolling the Nova Corps. I think the Nova Corps after Guardians 2 is already injured, is already damaged. He walks in, he takes the stone. He's going to have, 5-10 guys, like... trying to fight him.
I mean, that's true.
You show it in the opening sequence, like him walking out, kind of like.
I mean, that's true. You're absolutely right.
Fast 6, with whichever one or 7, Fast 7 with the brother, where he walks out of the base and there's just like bodies everywhere.
Right.
Just do that same scene with Thanos.
No, I mean, listen, yeah, you can. That part is easy, but. You know Hollywood. They got to tell another story besides them having to fight Thanos, right? There's got to be a quarrel between the guys and whatever. Like you got to understand, we just left off with Civil War, so like Cap and Iron Man are not. So they got to get back together.
Wow, Spider-Man's coming out. Thor's coming out. Is that the next one?
Spider-Man's the next one.
I know, but is that the next one after Marvel?
I mean, it's either Panther next and then Infinity War, but
not that timeline.
Well, I don't know what else you're asking.
No, it gave you like the story timeline in the universe.
Yeah, right. I get the story. Except that nobody understands when any of the.
So okay, we got Guardians: Homecoming, Ragnarok, Black Panther, who could potentially have the
last stone.
The Soul Stone,
right?
Because there is some stuff with like his abilities and stuff. I can see that. So then you could have Thanos like get that first at the end of Black Panther. Maybe I don't know how much they want to tie it in. Then it's Ant-Man or the Wasp. Again, you could have either him getting one of the stones or something. I don't know what
Right.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know if there's like a plot summary yet. The Wasp, set after Civil War, obviously. Nothing. Okay. But that's after Infinity War. Never mind. So yeah, Homecoming, Ragnarok, and Black Panther, and then it's
Right.
Infinity War. And Infinity War is next May. Man, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a few movies. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I don't even know, how do we get to this conversation? What were we talking about? We didn't even say we're talking about Black Panther. How do we get into this? See, that's how bad our tangents are. Sometimes we don't even forget. We have to rewind this to actually get back.
Tangents. I think we were just talking about... I have no idea.
Oh, I think we were talking about garbage movies because like I can't say blah blah blah.
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about
that was
wow, that's crazy.
That
See,
rabbit hole
tangents.
went deep.
This is why we call it tangent.
That rabbit hole went deep.
That rabbit hole went crazy deep.
Yeah.
But,
So, I think I'm gonna give Wonder Woman a solid. To just really just jump back to that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of
Absolutely.
10 without a doubt. It's
No
not a perfect
questions.
movie, but it's damn near there.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about, we couldn't argue what resonated with me and what wow, holy crap. We went crazy deep in that.
Yep.
But now, going into Black Panther and the trailer,
Holy crap! That trailer.
out of nowhere.
And they
Nobody
were like, it's a teaser, and like
that's a trailer.
I don't even think you said or somebody else said like, oh, Black Panther teaser's out, and I'm like, 30 seconds. I'm expecting like
That was a trailer.
quick shot of Wakanda,
Right.
quick shot of a fight,
Yeah.
and then like Black Panther
No, that
logo
was a
coming
trailer.
next
That was
year.
a full-out
And
trailer.
then I was like, okay, this is like slow build up. This is
Yeah.
really slow for a teaser, and then it kept going and it kept going and I was like, holy crap! This
No, it
is
was a
big
full.
as-
Yeah, it was a full trailer.
So I think the people going to San Diego, the people who are going to make it Hall H, I think they're going to be blessed with probably like 10-15 minutes of footage.
Without a doubt. 10 minutes most likely because
Like seven,
some
yeah.
people have mentioned that they've already seen about 10 minutes of it, so I would say.
Oh yeah, that's true. There is. How excited are you to see the woman who plays Michonne outside of that role?
Michonne. Oh,
Walking Dead.
yes.
She's one of the chief guards.
Super excited to see what she can do because Michonne's always played this like. To me, here's the thing. I don't like the Michonne character because she's way too crazy tough. Like it goes back to what I always say, right?
You're not gonna like her role this either. Those guards are supposed to be like the best fighters.
No, I
in
get
Wakanda.
that, but here's the thing: them being the best fighters, you can still overplay what tough is, right? I've always gone back into example like there's actors out there, women actors that can play a tough woman, but they're not overdoing it. And so far, I haven't seen her do her Michonne role as a tough woman, but not overdo it. Like to me, she's always overdoing it.
Not even in that the whole thing with the cars. That was a pretty good sequence. I don't think she was.
I mean,
overdoing
I'm
it.
not saying the sequence wasn't cool, but at the same time,
Complete random like shift over to
Right.
TV stuff, but.
no. But I'm super excited to see her in something outside of Walking Dead. I had no idea that she did anything.
I'm so
else,
psyched. I'm so psyched about that.
I mean, I would love to
I
see.
didn't realize it was her until I was watching like a breakdown of the trailer.
Right.
And they were like, because like they showed her the shot, and I was like, why does she look familiar? She's hella bald.
Yeah.
So it's like bald versus like huge
Like, I'd love
dreads.
to,
I was
I'd
like,
love to see, speaking of Walking Dead and the whole tangent thing, I'd love to see Andrew Lincoln do something outside the Walking Dead. I mean, I'm sure he does plays, because he is an actor. But I'd love to see him do something. To me, I think he's a good actor, and I feel like he's got the chops to do some great roles. So
right.
I definitely would like to see him thrown in something as well. I can't imagine. I mean, listen, unless the man is set with just doing plays and Walking Dead, I mean, there might be that. Because I can't imagine.
Wrong with that.
Right, there's nothing wrong with that. Because I can't imagine this man goes into and does a screen test for a movie and doesn't get it. Like, I can't imagine that. I mean,
Yeah, but who would you cast that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Like,
I'm just
I
saying.
wanna
Like,
see-
let's say from what's out there, for what you think is coming out, who would you cast him as?
Honestly, I don't know what's coming out there besides the movies we just mentioned. So,
We got another Guardians movie. We got.
I mean, I'm talking. You know, if I'm talking about this in general.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those. We're talking. There's a Venom. What the hell is Silver and Black? Apparently, it's a cinematic universe movie.
But going back to Black Panther.
Silver Sable and Black Cat.
Cool.
Nice.
Going back to Black Panther, super out of nowhere with the trailer. Nobody was expecting it. A trailer in general, nobody was expecting. They thought maybe okay, they'll toss up a real quick see Panther
Like
jump on something. Not even 30 seconds, like 10 seconds. Most people were like, oh, we'll see him drop on a car or something, whatever, and then Black Panther, and that's it. That's most people. That's all they were expecting. And a Black Panther in words, really shitty poster. That's all people were expecting.
Really weird. That poster's super weird.
That's all people were expecting, and they dropped a full trailer.
I think they dropped the trailer because that poster was so awful.
I mean, that's very possible. Honestly, I haven't even seen the trailer or the poster.
Some intern made that poster, dude. Yeah, it's this thing.
Oh, it's just literally him.
Well, it's him on the thing. Let's say movie poster.
Jesus Christ.
There's lots of.
Well, none of those are it.
Really? Really?
And even I can tell.
Come on, Bing. Come on, Bing. Alright, is there a big?
I mean, I don't need a bigger one. So.
Okay, so you see it. An intern made this. Somebody was like, "Listen, we need this poster," and he was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna just Photoshop his head out of another picture, and put it on this clearly digitally painted everything else."
Yeah, that's weird. Shows you how much I care for that. No, I was super excited. I actually am crazy when they showed the world, when they showed in the trailer, when they showed Wakanda.
It's outstanding. It's beautiful.
It looks like it's going to be something I want to see on the screen.
It's beautiful. It's to me, it might be the best representation of Wakanda. I haven't read the old Jack Kirby stuff when Wakanda was first introduced.
Right.
But I've always had this mentality, this idea of this would be a ridiculously advanced civilization.
Right.
But every time they show it in Avengers,
it never looked like a ridiculously advanced civilization.
I mean, it looks like a modern day African nation, and they've just got some secret tunnels and
right. That's usually what I've seen as well.
And it's just it's never this thing that I imagine it to be, because they're supposed to be an undercover, a low key world superpower.
Right.
They have the primary source of vibranium,
right,
which is funneled into all their technology.
Which in this world is the strongest thing that we have.
Panther has a ton of tech, but then every time they show Wakanda, everyone there's not a ton of tech. There's not a ton of advancement. So I love the representation.
No, yeah, this looks amazing. Honestly, because I wasn't unless I went out of my way to look for it, I wasn't really hearing much about Black Panther. So I was like, oh, who knows even if when they're gonna actually start showing things. So I had no idea that we were actually gonna get Michael B. Jordan in it. So when I saw that,
I had heard of it
wow, that's cool.
At some point.
Which I mean, I'm not surprised because the director that is directing Black Panther also directed Creed. Yeah. So I'm not, and I believe, if I'm correct, now I don't know if this is true, but I believe that same director also directed Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
So he's worked with him, so I'm not surprised that he's working with him again.
Somebody, I was watching a review that was talking about the trailer, and somebody said that it looks like the best thing you could do for your career nowadays is play the Human Torch.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because you apparently then get a really badass role, right?
Yeah.
So nobody liked, I wouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people disliked the 2000s Fantastic Four. Me and you enjoyed it, and he's now Captain America. And then nobody cared for the newest Fantastic, and he's now in a Marvel movie. I don't listen. If anything, right? If anything,
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Hugh Jackman to show up in a Marvel movie.
Here's the thing. You do a Fan Four-stick movie, and then you just end up getting a 10,000 times better role and pay and credit, because whatever next you do is most likely going to be freaking amazing compared to that. So, but me and you enjoyed the old Fantastic Four. I don't think they were bad.
I like them. I think they were cheesy.
I mean, they were cheesy, but at the same time, you got to understand we're coming from what at that point, right? We had Batman in tights, or Batman with nipples. So let's put that. And then the only next closest thing I think at the time we had maybe Superman Returns.
I think he went around the same time.
Right.
And Superman Returns
and maybe X-Men.
And Superman Returns, and I'll be honest, if I don't like to, not to say I don't like to pimp a lot of other people's stuff, but if you really want to know like how big a joke Superman Returns really is, and why it failed so miserably, pick up. It's like $20, but it's a worthwhile watch. Pick up The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. It's a documentary by John Schnapp.
Because the previous movie that they were
was
trying to
supposed
release
to be a Tim Burton movie, and they went deep into production.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope.
Yep.
And all of that work and that money spent rolled into.
Oh yeah. Because I think it was at least $150 million they spent on that.
Yeah, so like if you look at like the box office numbers for Superman Returns, it doesn't make sense
because it's a $300 million production.
It's a $300 million production movie. I think at that point it was the highest production budget, just because they had rolled so much into it.
So much rolled from that movie. I mean, all of it.
And you can see like all the like craziness that like so.
Yeah, but if you like watch that, which I think that's a great watch, I agree with you. When you watch that, you just, dude, what everybody is explaining, there was just too much craziness around that movie.
It was too much craziness. You had a lot of
and I'm not talking about like good kind of craziness. I'm talking about legit like stupidity, craziness, ideas.
Playing around. You had a lot of egos. You had a lot of like, oh, I want to do this. This is mine.
Right.
Because I mean, to put it into perspective, and you get this right at the beginning of the documentary, an individual owned the rights to a Superman to the next Superman movie. Like the one dude, that one dude. So he was the dude in charge, and he's kind of
crazy.
I don't want to say he's crazy, but like he's got a unique perspective.
He's a bad crazy, right? So I there's two crazies to me. There's a good crazy where like you take risks, you take chances, but like they're usually like calculated. They're calculated, but some people might view it as crazy. And then there's just crazy, and that's what this man was. He was just crazy. Like the stuff you heard people say about him and the things he wanted, you're like, I can't believe this guy was in charge of anything.
And I gotta give it up to John Schnapp. The way the movie is directed, the way it's cut together, it's like you have somebody talk about this dude and then you snap back to him, and it's like, this person's saying, this was the most ridiculous request I'd ever heard. And he's like, oh yeah, that's it. This is why that makes perfect sense. So like you see the complete direct comparison. Yeah. It's so perfect. Yeah. It's like the old Chappelle Show stuff where it's like where it's like he put his feet on my couch. He's like, and it was like the like response to that is like, no, I didn't put my feet on his couch. I would have put my feet on his couch.
Right.
And it's just like you would talk to a different person. Right. He just says, yeah, I put my feet on his couch. Like you just said that you didn't.
No, I got you. But yeah, so that's another tangent, but going back, yeah, I'm super excited for Black Panther, but I figure, I mean, how can I put this? What was I recently really excited for, but wasn't as like? It's not that I didn't like it, but it wasn't as good as my excitement level was for it.
Suicide Squad. It was Suicide Squad.
No, because for the longest time, like I think it was the final trailer that finally got me excited for Suicide Squad.
That's true.
So like Suicide Squad, I was on the edge.
I do remember you saying you weren't digging it at the time.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember, but it's been a while since I've been super excited from a trailer. Yes, Iron Fist was a complete disappointment. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it was awful, but it was definitely a disappointment compared to what I was expecting.
It was an enormous disappointment.
Yeah.
Enormous disappointment.
Yeah. So this, for me, I'm hoping they just, it's as good as the trailer so far made it out to be.
I'm excited about it. There's clearly a couple different Panther suits in the trailer,
which is fine.
I'm excited. Some people are saying that it might be a flashback to his dad.
I'm okay with that
because I guess there's some people on
you gotta
IMDb
explain that story.
like young whatever.
You gotta explain that story. That wasn't 100% explained during Civil War, so.
Yeah, I mean, like they kind of glanced over, like, hey, now you're the king.
Right.
They didn't really go into like the rite of passage, the rite of succession of the Black Panther title. That it is part of the royal title.
Right.
Like, when you're king, you're Black Panther.
Right.
Like, you are the war chief of the country. I'm really, really excited for this movie. I cannot wait.
I think if and here's the thing, so everybody was giving praise to this director for Creed, and I watched Creed.
Yeah.
I think Creed's a good movie, but I don't think it's that good.
What do you think of Fruitvale Station?
But once again, I think it was a good movie.
Was it the same year? Let's see.
Actually,
Cool.
to be honest, the only time
This is his third movie.
the only time I enjoyed that I really felt emotional about Fruitvale Station was towards the end.
Right.
Okay, like that really, I was like, damn, dude, damn, right? That's when I really felt. I thought the directing overall of the movie was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was great, but I liked the feel of it. Right, it had that real world type of feel. Right, it had recognizing your saints type of feel. I don't know if you ever watched that movie. It was a huge cast, really good movie. I think it's like The Guide to Recognizing Your Saints or something like that.
I do remember. I remember the setup for the
and so I like the feel of the movie. It's just I felt maybe the writing / acting / a little bit of directing obviously would play into all that. Wasn't as great throughout the entire movie, right?
Right.
So it was a good movie, but wasn't as good as everybody kept saying it was. Like some people even said Fruitvale Station should have been an Oscar nominee. I don't agree with that. I'm sure there was plenty of other movies that were way better than that. But once again, good movie. Creed, really good movie. Once again, like I think the biggest thing out of that was watching, once again, Sylvester Stallone do something that most people don't expect out of him, which is provide a crazy good acting capability out of a man that, I mean, let's be serious, was an action star in the 90s. He was mainly what he was.
The 80s.
Yeah, 80s, 90s.
He really didn't exist in the 90s.
Early 90s he did. But once like mid to the 2000s.
Except for Get Carter, which was an excellent movie.
Get Carter was an amazing movie. So once again, really good movie. I wouldn't say it was like crazy amazing. So I understand why.
Do you think that Creed was better than Fruitvale? You understand? I haven't seen either of these movies. Because the only question, the reason
I would say yes.
The reason I asked that is because then theoretically,
this would be his best movie.
This would be better than,
and honestly,
ideally you get better with every project.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be one of his best jobs ever. He's got 3 movies.
He's got 3 movies out of his belt. It's really hard to do well.
But I think the difference between the 2 other movies and this is going to be pretty significant. Obviously, I could be 100,000,000% wrong, but I feel like that he's probably going to knock this out of the park. I think this is really going to put him in another level for his directing career.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited. We didn't mention it, but it's coming out here in a week or 2, Spider-Man.
I'm really excited about Spider-Man. There's already talk about Spider-Man, the next one.
I mean, there's already talk about, and which I think we should go into that as well. But I mean, there's already talk about Venom. I mean, they cast.
There's some Venom, Silver Sable and Black.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I mean, they cast Venom. They have.
Venom's in.
Yeah.
Wait, who they cast it?
Yeah, Matt Hardy. I told you, he was 100% announced. It wasn't a rumor. 100% announced. He is Venom.
Matt Hardy.
Or Tom Hardy. Which one is it now? I can't remember. I always mess it up because I always keep thinking of the Hardy Boys from wrestling.
Venom Comics.
Is it Tom Hardy? What is his name?
May 27th. Eddie Brock, Venom. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. That's it.
Tom Hardy. Hold on. Here's the thing. Since it's a standalone Venom movie,
right.
There needs to be a flashback. Because
I was going to say, you have to have an origin.
I know we're trying to get away from origins and all that other stuff.
But you have to. For Venom, you have to.
That's such an epic origin.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy that has... Like, he doesn't just become evil. Like, there's just reasoning for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like this man was just a bad person all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, Venom is a pure psychopath at first. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's all about one thing, and that's getting Spider-Man. So you have to show that. You have to show why that is.
You gotta show it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm okay if they stick to the animated series origin, where it was a piece of alien,
right,
something that came through
right,
with a moon mission or whatever.
Right.
I have no problem with that, because that is a modified of the original origin.
Sure,
the original
yeah,
origin
of course,
is way bigger and more convoluted.
Yeah.
But if you stick with that, I mean, like, if you take it one for one for the animated series, I have no problem with it.
100%.
But the problem with that is that the first half of the movie would be Peter Parker having a suit on.
That's true.
And I don't think they're going to do that. That's my problem. How are you going to give me... I feel like they're going to give us Spider-Man 3 with just Eddie Brock from the beginning.
I mean, I guess depending... Here's the thing. I guess it depends. It depends when his movie's coming out, too.
Next year. October next year. So before Spider-Man 2.
We'll see about that.
Here's what I think. And I think essentially they're going to do Spider-Man 3, just the basic plot points, not the emo things. I think, it's going to crash land or whatever.
I mean, I wouldn't say, everybody makes, let's talk about that real quick. Everybody says emo things. I think it was just them trying to show a darkness to him. I think that's why he looked emo, was they were trying to show...
So they're saying that even his darkness is nerdy. There's a nerdy darkness.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like, in the animated series, we got a cocky Peter Parker.
Cocky, dangerous, violent.
In this one, we got a more, like, nerdy, dark, violent one. So, like, just depends how...
It was a different interpretation.
Like, you gotta understand, like...
it wasn't my favorite interpretation.
Sure.
Honestly, I think my favorite to date is still... I don't think I've seen the Ultimate Spider-Man one. But the Spectacular Spider-Man Venom Exchange was outstanding.
I think I still have to watch that too.
Spectacular?
Yeah.
Spectacular was a great series. I love that series.
Yeah, so
I think Ultimate is better just because it's longer running.
Right.
And there's like more fun to it. Still not a huge fan of like the little chibi asides.
Oh, do you know they're completely redoing that now? There's a new series coming out. Oh yeah, and it's awful. The art is...
What are you talking about?
Look it up.
It's right now. It's on Secret Wars.
That's fine.
Is that the final season?
It's very possible that it is, because they've already announced a new Spider-Man series, and it looks bad. The art, it does not look good.
You're crazy.
No,
you're crazy. Son.
Absolutely not. I'm not.
You're crazy. This is crazy.
No.
Crazy.
Just search Spider-Man animated series coming out.
Ultimate Spider. Nope. TV series. Season 4, final season, making way for new series, Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yep, click on that, and find the art for that. So search Marvel's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man animated series 2017.
Yeah, that's the art. No, that's definitely not. That's still not it. Go back. Don't look at this stuff. Go back. Right there.
Oh, the sneak peek. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
This is sad, because Ultimate was actually good, and then I started like, it's crazy kitty. Like, watch how Lizard looks. Or is that Scorpion?
Scorpion.
I don't know, whichever. Like,
Okay, that's an existing costume.
no, it's not the costume that it's just like the way the art looks. It looks really.
It's lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy.
It's lazy art. No. And this has just been a progression. I mean, if you.
Which is sad.
I
Which
think
is sad
but
because
here's the thing,
Ultimate
if you
is
look-
such a cool looking show.
Ultimate is cool, but at the same time,
It's not like that though.
Ultimate was not as good as Spectacular. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Anything from there.
Your city will thank.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about the audio. Like, it's lazy. It's the style was completely weird. But once you're working it, right?
Oh wow, Spectacular was not good.
That's what I'm saying. Ultimate's still better than that.
Yeah, they did a really good job with Ultimate. I was like the Ultimate art, like right there, the main stuff looks
The
really
reason
good.
Ultimate is so good is because Ultimate borrows a lot from the comics.
I mean, that's fine.
which is what the '90s shows did, and which is what made them good.
Yeah. So
like I had an argument about this with my friend, who basically said that I forget what show it was at the time that we were comparing, but I said, I'm like, the X-Men TV series from the '90s was amazing.
Oh my god!
Like the art was so good, it was so close to the comics. And he's like, oh yeah, because all this blah blah blah, and like trying to explain to me like how this new like cell shaded like the Justice League show was good, but like even Bruce Timm's art is it Bruce Timm? I always forget. I think it's Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm's art from like the latter half of the Batman series, the Gotham Knights or whatever, versus the original stuff.
Right.
It's different. It's lazier. Now, it's lazier in terms of like there's less detail. It's still an outstanding show.
Oh yeah.
But they went to a simpler art style to
absolutely.
expedite the process, to make it faster and easier,
Yeah.
which is what we're seeing here. This is most likely all computer generated
Yeah,
animation.
it looks like crap.
But you know what? If they tell a good story, I'm gonna get over it.
I mean, yeah,
like I
that's
said,
true.
Spectacular. The art was not the greatest on Spectacular. I think Ultimate is way better. I think the original Spider-Man series was even better than that. But
you know which one I did enjoy? I
Spectacular was
enjoyed
good.
2099 or whatever it was called when he goes into
the original Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No. They didn't call it Ultimate Spider-Man.
Did they? I can't remember now.
Because I don't think they called it Unlimited.
It was Unlimited.
Spider-Man Unlimited. Spider-Man Unlimited had the best art. I think even
And
with
then,
X-Men
and then
and Spider-Man.
only half of one season.
No, they got a season out
I
of it.
think it was 13 episodes.
Regardless. There was plans for a second season. I've got a bunch of the
I
art for the
know,
second
man.
season.
It's so
Listen, but that's the
cool.
same. That's the same problem I have with the Wolverine the X-Men series. It was an outstanding first season. They
Oh my God.
they set up season 2, and it was going to be Age of Apocalypse, and it was going to be beautiful.
It was going to be awesome.
And then they canceled the show.
They
And
should
I
have.
was so pissed.
Stupid.
So pissed. Like, Age of Apocalypse is one of the greatest crossovers. I'm not even going to say Marvel crossovers. I'm going to say Age of Apocalypse is one of the greatest crossovers ever put to comics. And they just canceled the show before they did it.
Yeah,
like, they kind of did Age of Apocalypse in the original show, but it's not the
Here's
same.
what pisses me off. Like, right now, like, so DC finally realized, oh shit, maybe we should bring back Young Justice, right? Everybody's like,
And they're
going
gonna
for
do
it.
that.
And they're
Season
bringing
3 is
back
official?
season 3.
On
But
their new channel?
here's the problem. You didn't continue with it, so whatever expectations they have for it, they should have it. Because guaranteed, yes, there's going to be you and I who are going to watch it, but the numbers they're probably expecting, they're not going to see.
They are, though.
I
They
guarantee
are.
will.
They are, but the reason they're bringing it back is because so many people watch the Netflix show. That was the big movement.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
the writers and the creators of the show said, if you want it to come back, watch the crap out of the Netflix show.
Right.
Because
No, I get it.
the Netflix,
No, I
watch
get that.
And the numbers add up. They show the numbers. So like,
But I think they're expecting more because what all these companies are doing is they keep going towards the kiddie style stuff. And
yeah, I think that Disney especially, and I think Warner Brothers to an extent, is they try to restart these shows for the toy market, right? They want to constantly appease the toy market.
Right.
But if you remember, in the 90s, it's not like kids in the 90s stayed being 7 years old for 10 years.
Yeah, no, I got you.
No, but we still got 7 years of Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
We still got 5 years of Superman the Animated Series. 5 years of Spider-Man.
But that's because
Or 7 years of Spider-Man. 5 years of X-Men. Like, all that stuff still happened because kids would watch the show. The show was good. They would go buy the toys.
Right.
You didn't need to have a dumb or a dumbed down show to have toys sell.
Absolutely.
You didn't.
You did not.
You could just keep selling toys.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's like, oh, there's all these toys, and by the way, here's toys from the last season. Now you have digital. Now you have now you have a Blu-ray. Now you have all these mediums where kids get these things. You could make an app. Oh, watch every episode.
Oh, I know.
And then you make a season one
here's the thing.
Redux or
Speaking
whatever.
of that, I'll give Funimation a huge round of applause because they offer all their animes to stream online. And you can pay $5 or $6 a month to not have ads. But you can watch every anime they have that they've either have in Japanese or that they dubbed for the U.S. market.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm rewatching all of Initial D because I can.
Why not?
I mean, I'm watching it with ads, but I'm watching it. I get to watch the whole thing.
I'm happy to watch with ads, as long as I could watch it.
I mean, listen, it's a single ad every time, so it's not like it's 30 ads before the next part plays. It's a single ad, real quick. It's
that's better than most.
Oh yeah,
better
no,
than
absolutely,
shows.
yeah, and usually it's about something they are providing. Like right now, in the more recent episodes that I watched, it was Dragon Ball Super. So, it's not like. Absolutely, you provide it. It's there. Watch it. What does it matter?
Absolutely,
I'll watch it all day. I'm super excited for Spider-Man. I really wish it worked out better with the previous one with, Jesus, I forgot his name now. Andrew Garfield. I mean, he was a huge Spider-Man fan. He said he got even into gymnastics because of Spider-Man. And he loved the character. It's a damn shame that whatever was going on with Sony at the time, it just did not work out.
I mean, he started talking shit too, so like...
I mean, yeah, but he started talking shit because they started doing things that he didn't care for. They started doing, and clearly, they did enough of it because not only was he talking shit, they had to sign stuff with Marvel just to help them out. So clearly, they were messing up, and it's a shame. But I am super excited to see how, what is it, Tom Holland? Is that his name?
Tom Holland.
I am excited to see how he does. I mean, listen, he's, from what I understand, he is an actor. He does, from what I understand.
He is an actor. He is the same as, again, the same way. He got into gymnastics because of
I did not know that, but I'm happy to hear that. That means he is a fan, so he's going to try to do as much justice towards the character as possible, which is great.
He loves the character. I mean, the greatest thing is from the Civil War set. They had an interview, and he's like, "Oh, I watched." He's like, "I went to see the original Avengers movie with my friends, and I never thought I'd be in."
I saw that.
And I was like, "That's such a great moment. Like, that's got to be the best moment for you as a kid."
But I feel so old that he says, "As a kid, I went to see Avengers movie," and I'm like,
"But he's genuinely young. He's
17. He's a teenager. He is playing a role that he is." He is
potentially the first teenager to play a teenager.
Right? So I am excited. I am excited that, obviously, now that it is part of the Marvel Universe, it's going to be done well. I have no doubt about that, because Marvel, obviously, is involved in part of that process.
I think Sony's smart. They had Kevin Feige in the room every time a decision was made.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're just
we're
going to do this. What do you think, Kevin?
Here's the thing, and I truly believe that is a fact, because if it was, then you really think Robert Downey Jr. would be in that picture?
Well, I think that's just I think it makes story sense why he's in there.
I mean, it makes story sense. I'm just saying, you really think that if Sony was running the whole thing and they didn't, you think Robert Downey Jr. would be part of... What you're saying is that they
wouldn't make that good of a decision.
No, they definitely wouldn't make that good of a decision. At least from the stuff they've shown. I'm not saying they've done bad with the Spider-Man property. Clearly not, because Fan Forstic is the issue most people have. Overall, all the Spider-Mans that I've watched, I've enjoyed. I've had no major issues. You know, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people hated on Amazing Spider-Man 2, and my only beef was how fast they went with Harry Osborn. Like, they really needed to stretch that out. They tried to push that. No, absolutely not. All they could have just they could have focused on Electro, and then, you know, Rhino could have been like
I was really excited
backup
about
character
that universe they were building.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to see.
I thought for sure they could have done a good job.
I wanted to see the Green Goblin, the Rhino, even the Vulture, the Octopus. I mean, they had all of it. They had the setup there, and they just let it fall through.
They let it fall through pretty good.
They succumbed to critics.
Yeah,
I really think they succumbed to critics. You could have easily still taken that universe and merged it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I think you could have, but I think with everything that was going on with the email leaks and stuff like that, that just wasn't going to happen. Plus, obviously, Andrew Garfield and a pretty good, you know, from what I understand, it wasn't just Andrew Garfield that wasn't really happy with the you know, direction Sony was taking when they were trying to get involved in the movie. So, you know,
Listen,
it is what
I'm
it is.
excited about this new one. It looks good so far. I like. He's doing a really good. Like, he's selling the New York kid bit really well.
He is. He's doing a good job.
Crap out of that.
He's doing a good job. I'm actually really impressed with how well he's doing with that.
I'm really excited.
And I am excited to see how he does. Listen, if anything, I'm still going to come out enjoying it for a fact. I know that 100%. I'm not going to hate this movie.
Yeah.
How much I enjoy it, well, that'll depend on how good the movie is done. But, like I said, you know, Marvel's clearly involved with it. Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't be in a movie that he doesn't have confidence that, you know, Marvel is part of it and proper decisions are being made. So, yeah, I'm super excited for it. I asked you about Venom when he did get announced. I asked you, I'm like, do you think maybe he's too old of a actor to play that character? No. You said no. I'm okay. I think Tom Hardy's a great actor. Your statement was that you just haven't seen him enough to say he's a great actor. I'm trying to
think what I've seen him in.
I mean, you saw him in that comedy movie with Chris Pine with the love thing.
Right.
I know you've mentioned that.
Let me see here. Venom. There we go. Tom Hardy. I'm trying to see what has he done.
I mean, he's done a lot.
I mean, Nemesis. He was Shinzon, but I mean that was Star Trek Nemesis. He did the role.
He did what he could.
He did what he could for that role.
I mean, I told you the movies.
I haven't seen Inception. I haven't seen Tinker Tailor.
I think you should.
I
Here's
really
the thing.
seen most of these movies.
Inception's a great
I hated
movie.
Bane. I think Bane was the worst part of Dark Knight Rises.
Inception is a great movie. He doesn't have a huge role in it, so I don't think you're really going to get much of
I've seen
acting out of
these
that.
Movies.
As I said, Warrior, you definitely should watch. Lawless, he does a really good job in that.
I guess the new one's called The Last Jedi. I forgot about that.
From what I understand, Locke is really good. I do still have to watch The Revenant and Legend. Those two apparently are supposed to be extremely. Well, I mean, shit.
Wasn't he nominated for Tinker Tailor?
The man himself that never wins a goddamn Oscar, but always gets nominated for one, won an Oscar for it. So it's got to be somewhat good.
He was in Rock and Roll, except I don't remember it. He was in Sucker Punch. What's Sucker Punch?
Sucker Punch, the movie that most people hate from Zack Snyder about the
girls.
mental girl.
Yeah. I did see that, and I do remember him in that. Again,
I don't.
It wasn't a big role. Yeah, I just don't think I've seen.
I don't think you can judge.
I can't judge his acting ability on what I have seen so far. I'm just saying, I don't think he's too old. If you give me a story, basically, if you give me the same story from the animated series versus / the third Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie, where the Venom symbiote somehow comes to Earth on a meteor or space, whatever. Or if you want to
play that it's invented.
If you're bold and you go the Ultimate Comics line and you say this is an invented suit, he's a researcher, or because here's the thing, Spider-Man's really young. This guy's considerably older.
Right.
They can't have known each other. They can't be friends.
Right.
because in Spectacular, they were friends from school.
Right.
And basically, like, Eddie Brock basically sees it that he's, like, keeping secrets from him and betraying him.
But I mean,
and that's where it comes from.
even in the Spider-Man before Spectacular,
The original
they knew each other.
They knew each other as rival reporters. So they were
Was
still
that what
about,
it was?
yeah, they were still about the same age. Peter Parker just kept beating him out for headlines, and then Spider-Man basically kept like crushing his headlines as well. Yeah. So like he hated both of them,
right?
And then we found out they were the same person. It like doubled it up.
It's been a while since I watched.
And that's really more towards the original origin.
Right.
I don't remember what they did on Ultimate. I don't even know if I've seen that yet. Regardless,
no, Ultimate's completely so Ultimate Spider-Man. The Venom is created. It's not an alien one.
So they went with the Ultimate
Osborn creates it.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
Osborn creates it. I believe it's what creates him as well. I think
the Green Goblin thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I do recall that. Yes, I mean, I think that's going to be one of those things where you could play it that way. He could be a soldier or a researcher or something.
Yeah.
At that facility where they created, and I'd be fine with that.
I mean, I'd be fine with that as well.
The only thing is that then it's very much a singular story. And him you can't give him the logo on his chest because it doesn't make sense.
Why it wouldn't make sense, right?
You would have to give him a completely different design.
That's the thing. So that's where the issue is, right? So you do have to still play it that the symbiote at some point was involved with Spider-Man.
And
how do you do that?
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they can.
Here's the thing. I think you can if they didn't show us everything in the trailers for the Spider-Man movie.
It's possible. It's possible. The only other
if they do introduce Osborn in the movie,
the only other thing I'd say is if there's basically if this is like, oh hey, this guy's powers, let's try to replicate that, and this kind of spirals.
Or here's the thing, they could blame Tony and say, oh you damn it Tony, you created what's his name? Ultron.
You didn't create Ultron.
Right. No, whatever. You created Ultron, and now you created this damn symbiote. What the hell is wrong with you, right? They could play that, but I think what they should do is they didn't tell us everything, and there is an actor in there, and maybe a well-known actor, and he is playing Osborn, and Osborn is trying to create stuff.
I think you could easily.
I think you could easily. I think you throw Osborn in this movie
because that's the thing.
Because he doesn't have to be a villain. He just has to be a dude that wants to create shit.
In Ultimate, I mean, you could definitely play it a little looser.
In
Ultimate, that's what Osborn.
I'm just saying he doesn't have to be like a crazy villain who wants to go after Spider-Man.
Because we don't know the origin yet. Right. We're gonna see. I'm sure in the flashback during the opening credits or something. I think you just play it like, he was at Oscorp.
He was at Oscorp.
That's all you gotta say. He was at Oscorp.
So now you know Osborn is involved.
Osborn is working on stuff, and that's how we got Spider-Man. I'm okay with that.
I agree, 100%. I think you can easily do that, unless
I just want some sort of comparison, because otherwise you got to give him a completely different look. Right. He has nothing to do with Spider-Man.
Right. There has to be a comparison.
At which point, why do I care?
Right. Exactly.
Because then it's just like a completely different Eddie Brock. Granted, he's going to have some mental issues.
Completely different Venom.
But completely different Venom. He doesn't have the look.
He shouldn't have the look.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Like, he's not going to look like the Venom from.
So I think you do go the Ultimate route. You do say it's created, and you show hints here and there in this movie.
Just hints that it's like that, or even just at the end,
right?
Just like they did.
Yeah. I mean, let's say,
Logan
like you said,
happened from the end credit scene.
I mean, that's true.
From Apocalypse.
Yeah, no, absolutely 100%. So, like you stated, in the beginning, you show here and there just clips that he was at Oscorp, he got bitten, and that's Spider-Man. And then at the end of the movie, you show a real quick scene of Osborn somehow getting Spider-Man's blood, and he's basing the serum off of that.
And if you really got balls, and I say this just because I started perusing through my Ben Reilly books, if you really got balls, it's not Osborn. At the end of this movie, you say that it's what the hell is his damn name? Miles Warren, who creates the clones.
Okay.
So Miles Warren has the stuff.
Right.
He works for Osborn.
Okay.
He's like, I'm going to research this. During that process, that's how we create.
You could definitely go that route.
The suit is a clone, which is kind of what it was on the Ultimate show.
Yeah.
Now that I remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
essentially a clone.
Essentially, it was his DNA, but like the mutagens of the DNA and stuff like that.
And it went crazy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think you could easily say that. And now we have Miles Warren in the universe.
Yeah.
Now you could play around with the Clone Saga if you
Absolutely,
want
100%. I think you can easily deploy.
And that's how you recast Spider-Man.
That is
10 years from now when kids like I'm done.
Yeah.
Miles Warren in the shadows somewhere
Yeah.
creates me a Ben Reilly.
Yeah,
And that's my Spider-Man.
Oh my God, a Ben Reilly. As much as I would love to see like a Miles Morales, I would love.
I think we should get Miles Morales film. I think
would love to see a Ben Reilly
the animated film they said is going to be in universe and it's going to be Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I have no problem with that. I would love to see a Miles Morales film. I'm just saying, 10 years down the line, when Peter's dead. And Miles Morales is quitting. Like he's had his fill.
Dude, okay,
so
hold on a second.
God
So
damn it.
right, Marvel has Netflix, which has all these shows. Why not throw a Miles Morales show into the Netflix lineup?
I think you need to make a movie. I just mean, for representation's sake, I think it might end up feeling like you're kind of shoving him in a corner.
I mean, that's true.
That's the only.
I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, you could say that. I mean, I'm just saying if you're
new actors come up.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see a new young black kid
I'd love to see new actors come up as well. I'm just saying if you try to not make the movie universe crazy complicated, like we have seen it happen, you start out with the show.
I think if you kill
and plus,
off,
if it's a Netflix show,
if you kill off Iron Man and if you kill off Captain America, as you should, in Infinity War, as you should, let's move on. We have other characters to play with.
What if? So now let me say this: what if they go new Marvel comic stuff, right? And they make Peter, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And then you get Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
I have no problem with that. I have no problem.
As much as I hate the news stories from both sides of the Marvel and DC.
Well, it's not that he's the new Tony Stark. It's just that Peter Parker is a genius in his own right.
I mean, he is a genius. I mean, we've seen that multiple.
He has his own tech company. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't want him creating, Iron Man armors or anything.
Right, I got you.
I just think that you could totally have Peter. And not right away. Peter
not right away.
We want to have him graduate.
Right, of course.
2-3 movies down the line.
Of course.
Peter could play like the Bruce Wayne to Miles's Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's out there. He's getting the best new toys.
Of course.
Peter's behind the scenes putting it together.
Yeah.
But if we just really need some help, he's going to strap on the suit and go into.
I think what we're ultimately going to see is after about 6 movies, we'll see Miles. Well, I mean, you said the animated. You said the animated movie.
The animated movie is meant to be Miles.
Which even if they go, I don't know. I think that either way, I think in 6 movies you either get Ben Reilly or Miles.
Animated Spider-Man movie reportedly cast Luke Cage's.
That doesn't make any
Mahershala Ali
sense.
as I didn't say who as the Prowler. Yes,
But it doesn't matter.
The Prowler.
I get that, but it doesn't matter who he's gonna play.
It's the anime movie. It's the voice. Just the voice.
Okay, well, I guess that's fine.
It's just a voice.
I'm just saying, if it just depends.
The only time I've ever seen
how
the voice be cast as the same person that plays them on screen is Vixen, and even that I thought was bold. And also, they made her hair short in the animated series,
right.
but long in the shows.
I mean, I guess just depends on, I don't know. It depends. Like
it's
when
gonna
we
be,
say
it's gonna be Miles Morales, and he's gonna be Shamik. I gotta see Dope. Dope is supposed to be a really good movie.
Never even heard of it.
As Miles Morales. Dope?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's you should see it. I'll show you.
But so that's pretty much our tangents. I'm super excited for Spider-Man. I guess we didn't really finish talking about it, but I am excited for Tom Hardy to be Venom. Tom Hardy.
I'd love to see it. I just think it's
going
to be very interesting how to.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting
it's
on
gonna
how
be.
they incorporate the story. But as we stated, I mean, they could easily do it in this first movie. There's no reason why they couldn't. You know,
Drop little hints.
because I mean, dude, you're talking
about.
you're talking about Vulture. Vulture clearly has some crazy suit tech. Like, not all of this could be from.
Daughter.
Yeah, you got Vulture's daughter, and not all of this tech has to be coming from Tony Stark. So they could easily introduce somebody that has some kind of
Here's the
science
thing.
company.
Originally, Adrian Toomes made the Vulture flight suit. But you could easily say that that's an Oscorp creation. But
Yeah.
but then that feels like we're just rehashing the Amazing Spider-Man story.
I mean, it's very
Which I have no problem
I
with.
mean, I don't
Again,
really care
I was
if
really
they do.
excited about
yeah,
that.
I don't really care if they are rehashing that. That doesn't really matter to me. That story is done. So this is.
I just don't want them to like flat out rehash the whole thing. I'm like, oh, he's totally creating the Sinister Six. Like, I don't want him to do that. I want that to happen organically. We got the Prowler.
Here's the
we
thing.
didn't choose Scorpion at the end of this.
Here's the thing. It's not going to happen organically. They're definitely going to push it because they really wanted it for the Amazing Spider-Man series.
But here's my problem. I think because of Suicide Squad, they don't know how to handle Sinister Six.
That's not true.
Because you got to understand, a Sinister Six movie has to be about the Six.
But it does.
Spider-Man essentially has to be the bad guy of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's the thing. It's not
these
that.
are all bad guys.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that it won't happen organically the way you want it, but it is going to be.
Too many movies.
Yeah, but it's still going to be organic. Like, it's still not going to be what the catastrophe that Amazing Spider-Man ended up being with having 50 villains in one movie. So
that's what I'm afraid of, man. That's what I'm saying. I hope Vulture is the only villain in this one. I don't
the
want
Vulture is.
anyone
I'm
else to-
certain the Vulture is going to be the
I don't want
only
anyone
main
else to
villain in this.
be around. I don't want anyone else involved.
Here's the thing.
I don't see the need for all these 2, 3, 4 villains every time. I don't need it. I don't need it.
No, I don't need multiple villains in one movie. You can make one villain, one great villain. Like, especially for Spider-Man, Vulture was definitely a good villain
Like
against
BVS,
Spider-Man.
the villain was Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Like, Doomsday was a tool.
Doomsday was 100%.
Doomsday was a gun.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a gun, he was a bullet.
Yeah, because, I mean, Lex Luthor can fight Superman.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have one solid villain.
Yeah.
Even in Wonder Woman, she was up against the entire German army.
Yeah, but the villain was
the villain was
guy.
Ares.
Ares, yeah.
Like, Ares was the villain. There's
Yeah.
no question about that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to have a really, really good movie when you have, like, 3 fucking villains.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why even in Apocalypse, what happened? Final fight happens, we mop the floor with the horsemen, and then they all leave.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
Because
the Horsemen weren't originally evil anyways. He literally made them become...
He made them become
Yeah.
evil, yes, but at the same time, like, it was like, we turned Magneto, we
Right.
turned Storm,
Right.
Psylocke kind of was like, this is not turning out my way, I'm going to go.
Right.
And then who was the last one?
I forgot. I think it was Archangel.
Archangel. I think he stayed on because I think he stays with them.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, everyone kind of pieces out.
Yeah.
That fight is done.
Yeah.
They're not the bad guys. It's the one
Right.
one dude. But when you have like an Amazing Spider-Man 2, where you have Electro, where you have Green Goblin,
No, you
and then
had
you
too
also
much.
had King Rhino.
But here's the thing.
But he was like bookend.
Right.
That made that beyond anything else made more sense because
Yeah.
it was like he was just a petty dude at the beginning.
Yeah.
He got caught.
Yeah.
And then like some shit happened behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and now he's got an armor.
Yeah.
I like that story.
Yeah, no, I was.
I didn't like that he was Russian or whatever, but.
I mean, yeah, you did. That was an interesting choice, but like, yeah.
Like, I love Paul Giamatti. I just don't think his Russian accent's really good.
I mean, I'm not worried about a Russian accent, but like, the Rhino bits didn't bother me at all. I mean, he was just a throwaway character, and I mean, a lot of times that's what I looked at Rhino. Every time you involved Spider-Man and Rhino was always just another dude that was like keeping Spider-Man busy while the main real villain was.
Yeah,
Was
like
taken.
Rhino,
So for me,
robs banks and shit. He's a
if
simple
you
dude.
had like for me, the way I would have done it was like, okay, Rhino gave this guy problems. Now we've seen Electro develop, and he's becoming who he is. And then he breaks, let's say, Rhino out of prison to kind of bother Spidey, while Electro does his thing to be the main villain. I think the whole problem with that movie was you had Harry Osborn become, oh, we're best friends out of nowhere. We never heard of you, Harry, and so now you guys are best friends. Oh, now you're not happy because he won't introduce you to Spider-Man, and now you just found out he is Spider-Man. Now you want to kill him. That was like a holy shit transition in one movie.
I think even looking back at Amazing Spider-Man 1, I think out the gate you had a problem where you had the main backdrop of the entire story was Oscorp, but you didn't have Osborn.
Can I say this though? I'm really disappointed that we'll never know what that parents were about.
Right,
I'm really disappointed. Out of anything,
I'm gonna need somebody to write me a fan fiction,
right?
Just to finish up that story.
Give me that story.
Just give me that, like, what actually happened with Peter's parents. Like, were they badasses?
Were they like crazy badass? I know, right?
I don't really know what happened.
Ah, that would be great.
Because that was one of those things that even in the comics that they try to pull that together, but that was like,
I know that I remember that at some point
6 issues. That was like 6 issues of comics that they like try to like.
Oh yeah.
You know, 6 issues like could be like. 20-minute conversation.
I mean, right.
But it was. I mean, it was like 6 months to a year's worth of comics that they try to like kind of shove into the movie, and it wasn't the greatest tie-in. So, I would love to see that. I just think that was the biggest thing is that you had this Oscorp backdrop. Like everything happened at Oscorp. Yeah. He got his powers at Oscorp. Yeah. Gwen worked at Oscorp.
His parents were part of Oscorp.
Yeah, everything that happened at Oscorp in the first movie, Osborn wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Like. Even like
you should have shown. I think you should have shown Harry Osborn at least twice in that movie.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a flashback of him saying, "Oh, thanks, Harry," or whatever, like them as little kids, just showing them that they played together. At some point.
Saying there's just, I feel like they wrote one, and then they were like, when they started 2, they're like, "Oh, we didn't tease Osborn in any way, not like it." Like, besides, this is the company, but it's Oscorp, but he could be dead.
Right.
We don't know.
They
didn't even talk about it.
No, I mean, look what they did with Norman Osborn in 2.
Yeah, he was just dead.
Yeah, he just died. Like, no, nothing. No, zero explanation of anything with Norman Osborn.
I
just a sick old dude that died.
Genuinely think that...
He had some kind of disease that was...
it was genetic.
It was genetic, so that's why, Harry needed the blood of Spidey. It's
super forced.
But I'm not worried about that happening with this. I am interested to see how they do the whole Venom thing. I'm glad they announced an actor for it, and it's not a bad choice.
They've got to go into filming soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad choice for an actor, so, like, I can't complain about that.
A year and a half, not even. A year and, like, 3 months.
I'm super excited.
They got to go into production soon because it's Venom.
So that's
Venom for real.
I think
there's a lot of CG.
Oh no, for sure. So that's a 2-hour conversation that you guys have just watched. If you have or listened to, we appreciate you guys watching or listening. Let us know. Let us know what you guys think about Black Panther coming up. If you're excited for Spider-Man. What'd you think of Wonder Woman? If you have watched it, if not, and especially Ghost in the Shell. What did you think? If you did actually watch it,
Absolutely.
I'm actually more curious about if anybody comments about Ghost in the Shell. I really want to know.
Or if in the comments below, or through Twitter or Instagram or
Facebook, if
any of our social medias, if you want to give us that story
podcast.
about what actually happened with Peter's parents in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Just break that down for us in like a 3-act.
If you know somebody is Sony and you knew where they were going with that, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you got got your hands on those leaks, maybe it was in those.
Did you get the emails?
Did you get those TBS reports?
But once again, guys, thanks so much for watching. Very long. That's the whole point of Tangents, is that we just go on rants. But I think we did a pretty good job.
It's not even midnight yet.
It's not even midnight, and we stayed within the subject.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys for watching, listening. We will see you, and you will hear us in the next one.
Actually, we won't see them. They'll see us.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like, see, I mean, we see.
But maybe we are seeing them, they just don't know that.
That's creepy.
Yeah.